And everybody should be in now.
Fantastic. Thank you. Okay, good evening. I am calling this public hearing to order at 6 p.m. in accordance with the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act, MGLC 131, Section 40, and the Boston Wetlands Ordinance, Boston City Code Ordinances, Chapter 7-1.4. The Boston Conservation Commission will hold this virtual public hearing on July 23rd, 2025, to review the following projects to determine what conditions, if any, the commission will impose to protect the interests of the public and private water supply, groundwater, prevention of pollution, flood control, prevention of storm damage, protection of fisheries and land containing shellfish, and protection of wildlife habitat. Excuse me. This evening's hearing will be followed by our regular public hearing. Yeah, wait a second. I'm sorry. The notes got mixed up here. Okay, so this evening's public hearing will be followed by our regular meeting. In accordance with Chapter 107 of the Acts of 2022, we are conducting this meeting online to ensure public access to the deliberations of the Conservation Commission. The public may access this call through telephone and video conferencing. Additionally, the meeting is being recorded. If you do not wish to be recorded, please turn off your video. Members of the public may have an opportunity to ask questions and provide public comment on applications and discussions. To do so, please raise your hand or type in the chat in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to unmute yourself, or send your questions to staff via email at cc@boston.gov. For the record, I am Michael Parker, Chair of the Commission. Could staff please identify themselves?
Elena Itamari with the Environment Department.
Hernandez with the Environment Department.
Max Harlage with the Environment Department.
Fantastic. Thank you. I'll call the roll of commissioners present. Commissioner Linay.
Amy Linay.
Commissioner Wilson.
Mike Wilson.
Commissioner Smargiassi.
Steve S. Smargiassi.
Commissioner Herbst.
Ann Herbst.
Okay, great. First item on the agenda this evening is notice of intent for DEP file number 006-2037 and Boston file number 2025-012 from 686 Architects on behalf of David Collins for the demolition of an existing building and the construction of a multifamily building with accompanying ground level parking and drainage improvements at 5 Warren Ave and Hyde Park. Resource areas are bordering land subject to flooding, 100-foot buffer to bank, 25-foot riverfront area, and 25-foot waterfront area. The application or the applicant is still assembling materials for the application that we asked them for at the hearing that we had on June 25th. So they've asked for a continuance this evening. So with that, I would entertain a motion to continue this hearing until our next hearing.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Linay.
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson. Commissioner Smargiassi.
Aye.
Commissioner Herbst.
Aye.
And I vote aye. Commissioner Wilson, are you in?
Yeah, sorry, I'm back. I vote aye.
Okay, thank you. That passes 5-0. Okay, next item on the agenda, notice of intent for DEP file number 006-2047 and Boston file number 2025-019 from Bowler on behalf of the New England Aquarium for the proposed replacement of an underground steam line between Simon's Theater and the main aquarium building at 248 Atlantic Avenue in downtown Boston. Resource areas, land subject to coastal storm flowage and 100-foot buffer to coastal bank. Who's here on behalf of the proponent?
Hello, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Hi, I'm Mike Driscoll with CBRE. We're the construction manager for the project, and Bowler Engineering is also on the call.
Great. Floor is all yours.
Thank you. You can go to the next slide. So this project is at the New England Aquarium, replacing an aging underground steam line. So the aquarium uses steam to heat the facility equipment, animal tanks, etc. And the existing steam line needs to be replaced. So we will be installing a new steam line in the front plaza area of the aquarium into the basement. So we have some drawings here. I'll let Bill talk through the design and we can answer any question at the end. Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Good evening, members of the commission. Bill Lucas with Bowler. acting as the project manager and civil engineering consultant on the project itself. The slide before you is site location with the red pin identifying the approximate steam line replacement that we will be performing. This is the FEMA map itself. This project is located entirely within 2 resource areas, land subject to coastal storm flowage, and also the 100-foot buffer to the coastal bank. Next slide, please. The proposed limit of the project spans from the north side of the Simons Theater to the west side of the New England Aquarium, which is roughly depicted by the limit of work line in green. The existing surface within that project limits is 100% impervious coverage, composed of both asphalt pavement and pavers. The project area is about 525 square feet that we will be disturbing as part of the physical excavation for the trench, and then the subsequent installation of the steam line and the singular manhole. So on the plan before you, you can see the proposed steam line in red and the proposed manhole as that blue box very close to the Simons Theater itself. The impacts that of the 2 noted resource areas will be temporary in nature, and the construction will be phased to continue to allow pedestrian activity through that area, and also some deliveries that need to be made to the aquarium itself. And upon completion, the work area will be returned to match existing conditions. Overall, that's the project in summary. It's pretty quick. With that said, I can either turn it back to Mike if he has anything else to add, or we can turn it back to the commissioners.
Okay. Mike, anything else to add?
Nope.
Okay, just want to remind members of the public to provide public comment. Please raise your hand or type in the chat in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you're calling in and cannot use the platform, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to unmute yourself, or send your questions to staff via email at cc@boston.gov. Okay, how long is this going to take? What's the duration?
It will be the exterior work will be September through November of this year.
Okay, and so as far as the excavate that's going to be taken out, is that going to be tested and characterized by an LSP?
Yep.
Is it a complete clean corridor?
Yes, we'll be doing soil testing.
Okay, so as far as the soil testing, where is that going to happen? And how's it going to be enclosed to protect against runoff?
We're going to do some test pits to test the soil, and then while we're excavating, the soil will be stockpiled within the fence barrier. And if we come across soil that needs to be removed from the site, then that's what will happen. But the plan is the dirt that will be taken out of the trench will be put back in the trench once the new steam line is installed.
Okay. And when you're talking about the fence line, I assume that I personally like to see runoff controls or erosion controls around the stockpile itself.
Okay.
Yes, it will be some combination, most likely silt filter bags.
Okay.
Around the perimeter of any of the stockpiles, and potentially along the outer limits of the work area itself.
Okay.
And I believe that's described on our drawings.
Yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you. I think that's it for me. Elena, do you have anything on this?
I didn't have any notes on the work itself. I did just want to flag that we had been in contact with the team at the aquarium, and they're working to close out a few older orders of conditions, so we've been in touch with them about that.
Oh, good. How old are they?
Quite. I think that the DEP file number is 1 digit shorter than it should be. So we're talking like the first
Thousands of
yeah,
projects.
yeah.
Oh, okay, okay, good. Okay, would be very happy to see those. Okay, Commissioner Linay?
I think you covered most of my stockpiling questions. I guess I was curious if in the event of a heavy storm like we had last week, would you also consider, covering those over just to prevent any washout?
Yes, I believe in the Board of Conditions, it says you have to cover them. Store stockpiles, but yes, we'll be doing that when not active in the construction area.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, good, thank you. Commissioner Wilson?
Yeah, no further questions. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Herb, I'm sorry, Commissioner Smargiassi?
No further questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Herbst?
And nothing from me, thanks.
Okay, Elena, do we have any raised hands?
I do not see any raised hands, or apologies, we have one raised hand from Rich McGinnis.
Oh, okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Richard McGinnis. I work with the City of Boston on coastal resilient infrastructure delivery. We're presenting later this hearing, but it's just a question for the aquarium. We're doing a resilience vulnerability assessment for Long Wharf in the area, and I know that the aquarium's been working on their master plan, an updated master plan, and sort of a resilience roadmap. So with these type of capital investments, are you sort of complying or meeting those long-term needs to address vulnerability to sea level rise and coastal storms? Thank you.
Great, thank you.
Yes, the new steam line is being installed away from the ocean, so it's away from the dock that wraps around the aquarium. So there will not be a impact from rising sea level.
Yeah, I think, just for the need to build berms and walls and considerable sort of elevation changes to the area, it may relate to what's below ground, utility lines. So that's sort of where I'm going.
Okay. Yeah, and I know the aquarium is looking into a larger, resilience potential project in the future. So I don't know all the details on that, but I'm sure that's something we can talk about separately. I can connect you with the right people at the aquarium.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. So yeah, that does raise a good question. So I don't think that and great questions from Rich. I don't think there's anything in here that we would ask you to provide based on Rich's question, but we would certainly ask you to coordinate with Rich. And I think if there's anything that comes up that because of the placement of this particular steam line could interfere with any resiliency plans that the city has for that area, we would need to have a definitely have a conversation. And I think, Rich, is that one of your concerns? Let me ask you that directly.
It's not. We
Okay.
don't have any recommended elevation changes at this location currently. We just know that the aquarium has been working on this master plan, sort of resilience roadmap, and want to make sure that this low-hanging fruit, that what they're considering for these near-term capital plans wouldn't interfere with their long-range plans for berms and other infrastructure.
Okay. So maybe I was 50% there. So that being said, before construction, you said you were starting in November, I think, October, November.
No, finishing in November,
When do you want to start?
September.
September. So that gives us about 6 weeks or so. I think it would be good if before you start, we got some sort of analysis of that question that, you know, how this steam line, this project, complies or furthers the resiliency roadmap. Or at the least, it doesn't preclude anything in the resiliency roadmap, something that, you know, is planned for 2 years from now, won't happen in 2 years because you've sunk the money into this piece of infrastructure. So I think if we could have something, and again, it doesn't have to be incredibly detailed, but something that shows that you've considered that particular issue in the file before you start construction. So probably put that in as a special condition here. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Anyone else? Any emails, Ella?
I do
No.
not see any other raised hands, and I don't see any emails either.
Okay, so with that, I would entertain a motion to close the hearing and issue a order of conditions with the special condition that the applicant, prior to construction, provides a summary or an analysis of how the work interacts with planned resiliency measures at the aquarium site.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Linay,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Smagiazzi,
Aye.
Commissioner Herbst,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That carries 5-0. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
You too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda, notice of intent for unassigned DEP file number and unassigned Boston file number from Goddard Consulting LLC on behalf of 700 Bennington LLC for the proposed demolition of an existing building and construction of a 4-story apartment building with stormwater infrastructure, walkways, and parking at 700 Bennington Street, East Boston. Resource area is land subject to coastal storm flowage. Who's here on behalf of the applicant?
Good evening, folks. You've got Chris Frattaroli. I'm a wetland scientist with Goddard Consulting, and I believe I'm joined by Luis from Spruan Engineering.
Okay.
So, hi there. So yeah, as you said, Mr. Chair, this is the project at 700 Bennington Street on behalf of the applicant, Tien Pham of 700 Bennington LLC. The general overview, and we can go to the next slide here. General overview, existing residential home on this site. It is north of Logan a little bit, just inland from Constitution Beach. It's about 6,400 square feet total, and it is located within that 100-year floodplain and land subject to coastal storm flowage. The flood elevation that we're using on our plans here is 16.46 on the Boston datum, so FEMA will show it as 10. The current site elevations range from about 13 at the lowest in that back left corner to about 15 by the street. And you can see on the aerial here, not a perfect GIS property boundary, but we have the building kind of in the center of the site, concrete patio at the rear, parking around most of the front along Bennington Street, and a bit of lawn in the rear as well. We can go to the next. And here's just a ortho photo showing that site as the red box in the center in that 100-year floodplain, Constitution Beach down at the bottom right there. We can go next. Couple of site photos just to provide context. Obviously, existing house, you can see on the top left, parking around the front again, a small landscape bed in the front. Bottom left, you can see that backyard area, patio in the center with a little bit of surrounding lawn. And then bottom right is that front left side of the house, a little bit more parking in that corner. Next, please. And here it is in plan form, all those same things we just talked about, house at center, parking pretty much entirely on the front half of the site that isn't the house, concrete patio, and a bit of lawn in the rear. Next slide, please. So the proposed redevelopment project here, and the image on your screen is an architect's rendering of what it'll look like. You got Bennington Street on the front. It's a redevelopment project proposing to raise and reconstruct a building on this lot, 4-story, 12-unit residential building. That ground floor is going to be parking only, 8 spaces under the building, and additional 4 surface spaces out back. We do increase our impervious coverage on the site by a little over 1,000 square feet. So that amounts to about 81% impervious cover on the site as a whole. We are providing stormwater management. We've got a fairly robust stormwater system here, catch basins, oil grease separators, area drains, roof downspouts, and a subsurface storm tech system in the rear. That system's been sized to manage a 1-inch rainstorm over the entirety of the impervious area on the site. And it's actually a fair bit oversized for that 1-inch rainstorm. It's probably closer to 1 3/4 inch rainstorm that it can handle. Next slide, please. We did prepare a little planting plan. There's admittedly not a whole lot of space to plant on the site, but we did want to mix in some native vegetation where we can. So that kind of beige hatched area around the perimeter is going to get a seed mix that includes both some quick germinating annual rye and things like that for immediate stability, as well as has some native perennial grasses mixed in to provide a little bit of wildlife habitat intrigue. We're also proposing a handful of trees and shrubs around that perimeter there. We've got flowering dogwoods, sweet ferns, and northern bush honeysuckle, again, to provide a little bit of wildlife habitat value where we can. We can go to the next slide, please. And here is just a maybe slightly easier way to look at the site plan colored up. So that revegetation, seeding, and planting area that we just looked at is that light beige perimeter around the left and the rear. The green coloring is just generic lawn landscaped areas. The more orange polygon in the center is the building, obviously, and then the gray is ancillary impervious. We've got parking out the back, a little connecting piece of sidewalk there, and the front entrance drive. So that is the overall summary of the project. Ultimately, not terribly involved, but if there are any questions, comments, feedback from the commission, we are more than happy to entertain all of those. And as you mentioned, we don't have a file number yet, so we couldn't close this even if we wanted to tonight. And I imagine we'll be back at your next meeting.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so couple questions here. First off, how big is the lot? So lost almost 1,100 square feet of pervious area. It sounds like. So what taking the entire lot into consideration, I want to get a context for how much that is.
Right. So the entire lot is, and I believe I have actual numbers in front of me here. The entire lot's about 6,400 square feet, 6,426 to be exact. Our existing impervious is 4,150, which is about 65% impervious cover. And our proposed impervious is about 5,230, which brings you up to a little over 80% impervious cover. So you got an increase of about 1,080 square feet of impervious cover. But going along with that, I do want to note that stormwater is not managed under existing conditions, and we are adding that to collect runoff from all of those impervious surfaces, including that delta that we are adding as part of this project.
Yeah. Okay. So I appreciate that, and I think you said that infiltration values are closer to 1 3/4 inch. Could you make a commitment that it's 1.5 inches? Are you comfortable with that?
I think so. Perhaps Luis, the civil engineer, might be online, might be able to answer that better, but I'm looking at a stormwater calculation on the site plan here. The required volume for a 1-inch rainstorm was going to be 436 cubic feet, and we're providing 787. So I don't have that conversion factor offhand, but it's a little shy of 2 times what would be required for the 1-inch rainstorm. I don't know if Luis might be able to add any color to that.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So if we put in the order of conditions that the infiltration value would be at least 1.5, that would work, it sounds like.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, okay. And I'll let others on the commission talk to you about the landscaping plan. I just note that there's not a lot of vegetation there. What about the roof? What's going on with the roof? Is there the opportunity for green roofing applications up there, white roof? What can we do?
Yeah, I think you can see it a little bit. I don't know if we can go back to maybe that artist or that architect's rendering. We are proposing, obviously, there's some HVAC stuff up there, and we're proposing 3 roof decks, for 3 of the units as well. But I think that if there was, I think there is definitely opportunity to have a white roof. We can certainly explore lighter colored materials for those decking surfaces if that's something that the commission would like to see. And I think we could implement some planting up there most likely as well. We can certainly look into that a little bit more if the commission would like.
Yeah, I think and I won't speak for everyone, but given how much pervious area we're losing here, I think we'd probably want to see some interventions on the roof. But again, I'll let others talk to that. So I'll turn it over to Elena for now.
Yeah, sure thing. We can definitely look into what we can do on that front.
Okay, great. Thank you. Elena, what do you have?
Thank you. Yes. So I was not able to attend the site visit last week, but the rest of the team conducted a site visit on July 17th. Again, as the project team noted, we don't have a DEP file number yet. And as they also mentioned, we had asked if they could include either lighter colored roof materials or planters. And then the sort of clarifying piece, and Dee Dee, please let me know if I've misunderstood this, but I think that because the planting is now going in, or excuse me, now that there is a pervious path, then there won't be the planting strip, or is that I think that was maybe a conversation that was had on the site visit, and I just wanted to make sure that that was clear.
Yeah, I didn't have the benefit of being at the site visit myself either. So if you could provide a little bit more detail, I can do my best to answer that.
Thank you. Yeah, Dee Dee, I'll loop you into this.
Yeah, I think it was the opposite of what you said, Elena, that now that let me just pull up the planting plan as well. So those 3 dogwood trees, I don't think were originally there when the plans were submitted. And I think on site, we were talking about a potential pervious path being implemented in this corner of the site. So we were just wondering if you can clarify if there's any need for a pervious path here now that the trees are here, or yeah.
Yeah, so the current iteration of plans is exactly what you see in front of you right now. We're not showing a path on that side at this point. I can certainly get back with the applicant and the project team, and we can put a finer point on that and clarify if something like that's needed.
Thank you.
Great.
And that was it, I think, for our comments as well, Chair Parker.
Okay, I just want to remind members of the public to provide public comment. Please raise your hand or type in the chat the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to unmute yourself, or send your questions to staff via email at cc@boston.gov. Commissioner Linay?
Yeah, I had some questions about the planting. I think the seed mix that is being specified seemed a little bit peculiar for this kind of site, given that it's more of a restoration type seed mix. And so I wondered, and also that some of the species in that mix can grow, up to like 5 feet tall and have a little bit of a wild look. And so my concern would be that residents of this building or neighbors would find that unacceptable as a look, and it would get mowed down. So I wanted to hear how that's being maintained. If instead, if the goal is to attract pollinators, if there's an opportunity to plant something that's gonna be received better, I think, perennials and things like that, or some grasses, but a little bit more thoughtfulness in that planting plan. I think also the issue is that it does require full sun, a lot of those species too. So I just felt like on that north side, you might run into challenges. I think it's also, it's tapering down to such a narrow width that I just don't see how anything's really going to fit in that little sliver between the back property line. Let's see.
Yeah, absolutely. We can take a closer look at the planting plan, and the idea was to provide a little sliver of urban wild, if you will, but I think we know how those things are often received. So we will take a look at that and see what we can do on that front.
Okay, I appreciate that. And then I think in that back corner where there's one tree shown, maybe there's an opportunity to use something with a little more, canopy tree that can actually provide shade on the parking. That could be helpful.
Yeah, there is actually a moderately large tree just off site off that back corner.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Probably not canopy worthy, probably not worthy of being called a canopy tree, but bigger than your average flowering dogwood.
Gotcha. Okay. So you're looking for an understory species. Let's see. And then I wondered if you are installing irrigation or temporary irrigation. And then my last question or comment is, I wondered in these front areas that are shown as lawn, given that they are so narrow, I think down to about 1 foot where it bows out, and that just I think will be a challenge mowing wise. So maybe there's something that could also go there instead. I mean, I'm thinking like a no-mow fescue or something that's drought tolerant and somewhat shade tolerant that could provide a little more texture and be less resource intensive for such a small area.
Yeah, absolutely. We're not showing irrigation on the plans at this time, but there may be value in doing so, especially on a relatively small planting areas like this. So we'll take a look at that, and similarly on the front line there, see if there's something that might be more appropriate there.
Okay, yeah, and I think on the irrigation side, it's like, if it's even just a temporary system for the establishment period.
Yeah, a quick drip
hoping
line would be pretty easy.
Mhm. Okay, great, thank you.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Wilson?
Yeah, no, I thought Commissioner Lay brought up a bunch of great points, and I think, yeah, as you said, you guys will be back in front of us, so seeing some revisions and another round, that'll be good. Appreciate it. Thanks.
Great,
Absolutely.
thank you. Commissioner Smargiassi?
Runoff beyond the 1.5 inches, 1 3/4 inches, how is that going to be handled? Where does it end up?
Yeah, I'll throw that one to Luis. I believe there's an overflow to storm drains in the street, but Luis might be able to answer that a little more specifically.
Hi, good evening. I'm Hideo Montero. I'm also here with Luis from Espuja Engineering. And the system is also powered with an overflow connection to the city main. And even though it is capable of retaining more than 1.5 inch without infiltration, it has been designed for more than that, taking into account some sort of exfiltration in this area. So any excess beyond that will be handled by the city drainage, but it will retain a lot more, and it will treat and manage a lot more than 1.5 inch, actually.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Herbst?
At the ground level, I know it's garage and parking space. Will it have flood vents? Is that?
I don't believe that's part of the design at this point, no.
Okay. I'm not clear if because it's multifamily you don't have to do that, but I guess if that's something maybe to check before you're back before us, whether flood vents within a foot of the foundation are needed within a foot of the ground.
Sure thing. Yeah, there's definitely some overlap with building code there. I'll check in on that for you.
Okay. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you. Elena, any hands raised? I don't see any.
Nope, no hands raised and nothing in the inbox either.
Okay, thank you. So, Chris, do you have any questions? We gave you a good amount of homework here.
I
Got it
don't think
all
so. I
down?
mean, I think it's all pretty doable, and we'll be happy to look into these and make some revisions for you. I think we'd request to continue to your next available hearing date.
Okay, so with that I would entertain a motion to continue this hearing to our next available hearing date.
So moved.
Second.
Do you have a second? Thank you. Commissioner Linay,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Estes Margiazzi,
Aye.
Commissioner Herbst,
Aye.
and I vote aye. Okay, that carries 5-0. Okay, next
Thanks,
item on the
folks.
agenda. Oh, thank you. Have a good one. Next item on the agenda, request for a determination of applicability from the Boston Planning and Development Agency to conduct up to 14 land-based borings located between Summer Street and Lisbon Street, Carlton Wharf, and between Lewis Street and Piers Park Lane, which is Lewis Mall in East Boston. Who's here on behalf of the applicant?
That would be Richard McGinnis from the city of Boston.
Okay, you doing it alone?
I'm not. I'm joined by our consultant team with Weston and Sampson.
Okay, great. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the commission. My name is Richard McGinnis. I'm Deputy Director for Coastal Resilient Infrastructure Delivery at the Boston Planning Department. Again, joined with our team at Weston and Sampson will be assisting me with this presentation. We're encouraged to move forward with this Resilient East Boston Waterfront project, having been awarded Phase 1 funds through FEMA's Hazard Mitigation Grant Program to close flood paths at Lewis Street and Carlton Wharf in East Boston. Next slide, please. So we've been working on this issue dating back to 2017, where these flood paths were flagged as challenging for East Boston back when we were doing the Coastal Resilience Solutions Plan for that neighborhood. After that plan was completed, we then sought a state grant to continue to community design vision and context for the hazard mitigation grant application to design a resilient waterfront that was also accessible, maintaining access to water dependent uses, including the ferry dock, and introducing better landscape and other things. While 8 years have passed since then, we now need to move quickly as our work needs to be completed by May of 2026. So this is a very urgent matter. That's when the grant expires. So we need to complete design, engineering, and permitting, a pretty much shovel-ready project within a short timeline. Next slide, please. So just a little bit about this area. We're looking to close these two main flood paths at Carlton Wharf, circled in red to the left, and at Lewis Street to the right. If you look further to the right, you'll see Piers Park Phase 2 and Phase 1. Massport's been an excellent collaborator with us on closing that additional flood path. The designs of Piers Park Phase 2 has already closed a significant portion of that path, and Massport is committed to working at the same time constructing their sort of resilient shoreline once we move forward with construction of our effort. As I mentioned, this is a hazard mitigation grant program through FEMA. We were awarded Phase 1, again for design, engineering, and permitting for a $2.65 million total. So the federal government will be providing 1.9 million, and the city will be matching it 25% at $662,000. The grant performance is we received the notice to proceed, and we do need to complete this by May 2nd of 2026. The planning department is leading this through the real estate division. This is a model the city has put together of where we need to make investment with public funds on private property. This is a blend of public and private property, but we will be leading the construction for this once the construction funds are at hand. We're not sure exactly what happens after May 2nd next year, but in our discussions with the state, the hope is that we would receive the funds to construct this berm. Critical stakeholders include Massport, the MBTA, the MARC at 99 Sumner Street, Clipship Wharf, Carlton Wharf, and many other stakeholders. And as I mentioned, it's consistent with the planning that we've been working on dating back to Climate Ready Boston in 2016. Next slide, please. So a little bit about the public engagement process. Good news is that we've engaged the community considerably over the last 8 years. And then most recently, a few years ago, with the concept design. We're going to move forward with the design that we've discussed with the community, really just moving into a higher level of design and the permitting process to move forward with this project expeditiously. I'm going to pass it over to Robin Seidel from Weston and Sampson, who can get into a little greater detail on the project design and where we'll be doing the geotech work. Geotech work is very critical here because there's a lot of subsurface infrastructure that we need to work around, including the Blue Line Tunnel. Robin.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Rich. Robin Siddell, Senior Associate at Weston Sampson. The overall program of what we're looking at for this initial phase that we're bringing to you today is 25 days of work over work days, so business days. Just to give a little bit more context in terms of the time that we're looking at for the borings. You can go to the next slide. So as Rich mentioned, this is a very interesting area. There's a lot of different considerations that we're looking at. So this is part of the reason why we need to collect subsurface information. We have the Blue Line Tunnel runs through here, quite a few BWSC easements and outfalls. And we just know, just basically based on environmental reports provided by Clippership Wharf, which was previously developed in some of the other adjacent properties, that there is likely to be some contamination. So we would like to do some testing to get a better understanding of what we're dealing with. You can go to the next slide. And this is just sort of a zoom in of the two specific areas, both Carlton Wharf and Lewis Mall, and some of the complex underground utilities that we would be looking to. We have a survey that's being completed right now that identifies the location of these utilities, and then looking to do the borings to get a better understanding for the future design. Next slide. And then in terms of, Rich, I don't know if you want me to continue on describing this, but the flood elevation that we're looking at for Carlton Wharf is elevation 16 nav D88, and that ties into the high ground at both recently developed adjacent properties, and then looking to basically not go out into the water, but peel back that water's edge to create a variety of natural landscaping for public accessibility and views through this area. And then you can go to the next slide. And so you can sort of see in these sections sort of the design intent, and we'll be coming back to you to as we further verify and move forward with the design. But just to give you a flavor of what is planned here, it's elevated harbor walk, some grading, some seawalls, and some berms. You can go to the next slide. And then at Lewis Mall, our design approach, we're actually going to elevation 13 in this near-term project. The reason we're not meeting the same elevation, which is also the 2071% elevation at Lewis Mall, is that the elevation of the ground existing is quite lower. So it would require us to find a way to achieve 8 feet in elevation within a very small area of public space. We do have a plan to extend this out in the future. So this design is adaptable and will be adaptable to address future flooding. And that is how we're intending to move forward in this future phase. This includes reconnecting to the existing water taxi and continuing the harbor walk through here, and connecting into the Clippership site, and then towards the right side of the screen up towards Massport's property, which is slightly higher in elevation. Go to the next slide. And then this is just sort of an overall view of what we're intending. This is sort of like a 2-phase to give you an idea of how we're thinking about this. So not looking to remove anything after we complete phase 1, but in phase 2, building upon that to further expand and elevate the waterfront. Go on to the next slide. So
Just
oh, yeah.
Robin,
Mhm.
just, clarifying that both actions are addressing long-term flood paths and vulnerability, maintaining the continuity of Harbor Walk, and also elevating Harbor Walk. The line of defense is inbound of the walkway, but our goal is to protect Harbor Walk as well from astronomical high tides moving into the future. Thanks.
And then in terms of the work that we're looking to perform in the next couple of weeks, we have a 25-foot waterfront buffer, 100-foot buffer for coastal, 100-foot buffer zone to coastal bank, and land subject to coastal storm flowage. And this specifically here is for Carlton Wharf. Go to the next slide. And we identified, it's a little bit easier to see here on this map, the location of the borings. We noted them there in red. Some things that I wanted to just kind of mention is, as I mentioned, this is looking to be a 25 25 working days of drilling work. And we will plan to store the drill cuttings temporarily in 55-gallon drums on site. During this period, we've identified some areas that the storage could occur, and will maintain access and not impede public right away when there's no work going on. And then some other things that I wanted to note is I know that fluid here is a concern and what happens with it. So we'll be generally recirculating any of the fluid that is used in this process, but we can containerize as needed or filter it through erosion and sediment controls. And that's what we're planning to do unless there's other recommendations by the commission. We can go to the next slide. And then similar considerations here for Lewis Mall as well, which is 25-foot waterfront area, 100-foot buffer zone to coastal bank, and land subject to coastal storm flowage. You can go to the next slide, and that'll sort of identify that. And in this phase, what we're looking to do is all the red dots that you see on the screen, which identify the locations that we're looking to drill. And trying to think if there's anything. We have 2 excavators because we'll be doing 2 different types of drilling processes. We'll have Car D drilling and Soil X be doing the work. And I guess I'm happy to answer. I'm joined by 2 of my colleagues, Christine Player and Brett Gruner. We're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Okay, great. Thank you, Robin. Okay, so Robin, this is your lucky night, given the BWSC easements and outfalls. Commissioner Sullivan is not here. So I really can't speak to them. But did want to talk to you about the fluids. Given this area, and given, the environmental legacy in the area that we all know about, I'm wondering about the fluids themselves. Are you going to be characterizing them? You talked about the option of containerization or letting them filter through, or letting the water filter through the erosion controls there. So what's giving you pause there? Have you done any testing? What do you expect? What's your thought process?
We have not done the testing yet. I will say that we were provided previous information from adjacent property owners, so we do have some idea what we might be up against, but I'll pass it to Brett Gruner if I can to answer additional information about this.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I think the plan would be within the existing fill soils, we would use hollow stem auger drilling methods, which don't generate fluids. And we would get the casing down through the fill into the natural soils. And then we would start introducing a drilling fluid to remove the cuttings and recirculate most of that fluid during the drilling process.
Okay. And so the plan right now is the excess fluids would flow into the filtration system that you have up.
That's correct.
What did the adjacent property, what sort of information did you get? Robin, you said you know what you're up against. What are you up against?
We don't necessarily know what we're up against, but it's been indicated to us that there may be some contamination. So we just want to be as careful as we can as we move through this process, anticipating that might be it. And we do plan to characterize some of the soil. We plan to characterize this and test it after we remove it. So that's part of the process that will inform our design and our next steps. But
Okay.
it was indicated that there might be some things that we might be concerned about. So.
Yeah, what would that be? Metals?
I'm trying to recall. Actually, Christine, do you happen to recall off the top of your head?
Yes, sorry, Robin, I have not seen that data, so I can't opine.
Yeah, it wasn't reports were not necessarily provided to us, but they just mentioned it in passing that it would be something we would want to do. I don't think it's anything outside the norm of what we would expect in this area for filled land in Boston.
Okay. So you're not expecting any PCB contamination? Put it bluntly. Okay. Sounds
Hopefully
good.
not.
Yeah. I tend to doubt it, but I guess anything's possible. Okay. Rich, just a quick question for you out of curiosity. The berm that's being built, what's the cost of that? What's the capital outlay going to be?
It's about a total $25 million project that's include this design work. So 15 million from the hazard mitigation grant and a 10 million match from the city of Boston.
Great. Okay. Thank you. Elena, do you have anything on this?
I do not have anything on this. I think, yeah, everything that we had questions on has been addressed.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Linay?
I was just going to say it's great to hear that the FEMA funds did come through, because I think it's been a while, right? I'm just curious, actually, if in the proximity to the MBTA, if you have to go through any licensing with them.
We will need to do license agreement. Unclear about the geotech work, but certainly for the construction activities, we'll have to bridge over the tunnel. It's an very old tunnel. No one wants to damage it. It's a similar project occurred in City Hall Plaza over the blue and green line a few years ago, where they redid the plaza and actually had to bridge over those old tunnels as well. So it's been done before. We're looking at it as part of our Long Wharf resilience study. Another leg of the blue line goes under Long Wharf, and as we're looking at making elevation changes there, using the bridge, typology for transferring the load, and also light fill and other measures. But yes, we are in contact with the T on this matter.
Thank you.
Is that the dreaded zone of influence permit that you need to get?
Yes, it only takes a year to get it, so.
Yeah. Ouch. Okay, just want to remind members of the public to provide public comment. Please raise your hand or type in the chat in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you're calling in and cannot use the platform, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to unmute yourself, or send your questions to staff via email at cc@boston.gov. Commissioner Wilson?
Yeah, no questions about this RDA. I'm keen to see what you guys find and see how the design progresses. Thanks.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Estes Margiazzi?
Nothing further on the boring project. Looking forward to seeing you guys for the rest of the project when it comes up.
Great, thank you. Commissioner Herbst?
I was curious, the RDA mentioned looking at groundwater levels, and I was curious what you were doing around that. If you could talk more about that.
Yeah, so primarily what we'll be using is the CPT explorations to look at the groundwater levels. And then we will record it in the cased section of the borings if it's encountered within the existing fill.
I guess I was curious whether you're checking the degree to the tidal influence, or?
Yeah, I can answer that. So I think that based on feedback we've gotten from other construction projects around the waterfront in East Boston, we know that groundwater and salt is somewhat of a concern. So I think what we want to have a general understanding of is it's going to inform how we design or what materials we use in any subsurface design, so that it doesn't degrade over time due to salt water. I fully expect that there is high groundwater in this area, just based on working on another project with Amy nearby.
Okay. All right. So it's more the salt issue. Okay. Thank you. No other questions.
Okay. Elena, did we, I don't see hands up. Did we get any emails?
No hands up and nothing in our inbox either.
Okay. And I think that Robin, I can actually channel Commissioner Sullivan and tell you what he would have said, which is stay away from our easements. Okay.
You got it.
Okay. Okay. So with that, I would entertain a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability with standard erosion control conditions. Elena, any other conditions you were looking for in this?
Not for this. No.
Okay.
Thank you.
So there's the motion.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Linay. Commissioner Wilson.
Aye.
Commissioner Estes Smargiassi.
Aye.
Commissioner Herbst.
Aye.
I vote aye. Go back to Commissioner Linay.
Oh, did you not hear me?
No, I didn't. I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Maybe I was still muted. Okay, sorry. Aye.
Aye. Okay, that carries 5-0. Okay, thank you. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, request for a determination of applicability from Foth Infrastructure and Environment LLC on behalf of the Massachusetts Port Authority to conduct up to 12 land-based soil borings at 1257 and 1263 Saratoga Street in East Boston. Who's here on behalf of the applicant?
Thank you, Chair Parker, members of the commission. I'm Chris Bush, Environmental Planning and Permitting at Massport. Fortunately, most of our Foth staff is either on vacation or on maternity leave, so I'm here on my own.
Oh, okay. Floor is all yours then.
Thank you. So the proposed soil borings, so if we could go to the next slide, please. I'm sorry. Thank you. So these borings will occur on Massport property along Saratoga Street, adjacent to the Belle Isle Inlet in East Boston. So just across the way as well from the town of Winthrop. Next slide, please. Current conditions, we have the remains of a timber wharf along the shoreline, bulkhead and seawall, which is also degrading. The work, as noted, will involve up to 12 land-based borings to conduct a geotechnical analysis to advance design and permitting for a shoreline stabilization and intertidal resource area restoration project that will be functioning as mitigation for the Runway 27 safety area project at the Logan Airfield that we had brought before the commission at the last public hearing. Next slide, please. So the work will be conducted from a truck-mounted boring rig. Samples will be taken at various depths for characterization to determine disposal. These borings will take approximately 8 to 9 days to complete. They will not permanently impact resource areas. These boring holes will be backfilled and stabilized. Contractor, of course, will have a spill management kit and erosion sediment controls around these boring locations. Next slide, please. This is just a site plan of the site with the proposed locations for those borings. They will be occurring in land subject to coastal storm flowage, as well as buffer zones to coastal resource areas. So we're requesting a negative determination. Happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you. Unfortunately for you, I've gotten back on my jurisdictional, not tirade, but jurisdictional march here. I know that you're here alone tonight, clearly you don't have legal counsel with you. But I do want to bring this issue up so that when you go back to the office, you can dial up your legal department and relay the message. In what got me on this was the upfront jurisdictional analysis in the FOATH cover letter, and it relied on the same Massport enabling legislation. And I'm sure you're aware that late last year the governor signed a legislation that amended the Massport Enabling Act. And it's a significant shift. Environmental performance and climate justice are now embedded in your Enabling Act, and they're enforceable mandates. So decisions about expansions, operations, planning must formally evaluate and address climate, air quality, community impacts, and especially for environmental justice communities, which I think we can all agree, according to census data and tracks, that East Boston is one of those neighborhoods. So I'm going to go back to what seems to be the adamant stance that Massport does not want to be subject to the local ordinance, which I think we all know the name of it is. It's the local ordinance promoting climate change adaptation, which seems to be right in line with Massport's new mandates in the Enabling Act. So I would ask you, the analysis we get from your legal department, and I know that it's been about 6 or 8 months now, but it leaves out the amendments in Massport's charge regarding climate change and environmental justice. So I'd like you to ask your legal department, based on the amendments from 2024, do they still hold the position that Massport is not subject to the local ordinance? And if so, I'd like to see the analysis.
Okay. I mean, could we get something in writing from the commission on that for submission to our legal counsel? I think that might be helpful, just so nothing's lost in translation and the specifics are outlined with regard to the commission's request and stance. I think that'd be very helpful.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. I think to be perfectly blunt, I would imagine your legal department is very well aware of these amendments and has probably thought about this. So we'll make sure we get to you our specific concerns. As far as this project here, I don't have anything. Elena, do you have anything?
I did not have anything on this either. I think actually the one flag was again from my team. I was unable to attend the site visit, but just wanted to confirm that the borings are going to stay away from the areas that have blue mussels. It seemed like there was maybe areas that did have mussels that weren't identified. And so I just wanted to make sure that my understanding is that the borings are going to be well away from.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when we were out there, we did observe some blue mussel in the subtidal, intertidal area. All of these borings will be above and away from coastal bank and above and away from annual high tide line. So just in upland locations.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. I just want to remind members of the public to provide public comment. Please raise your hand or type in the chat in the application via the Zoom meeting platform. If you are calling in and cannot use the platform, you can raise your hand by pressing *9 and *6 to unmute yourself, or send your questions to staff via email at cc@boston.gov. Commissioner Linay.
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Wilson.
Yeah, none here either. Thanks.
Okay. Commissioner Estes Smargiassi.
No questions on the borings. Looking forward to the next submittal.
Great.
More so after our chair's conversation.
Yes. And again, I don't want to discount the good things that Massport does. And Rich McGinnis was talking about what a great collaboration that you have over on the shoreline over there,
Yeah.
the last project. And, you know, I know that you do a lot of good things, but it's just hard for me to understand or square up how you could, be, you know, how your enabling act, you know, commits you to these actions. And yet the position is that not only won't you comply with the Boston ordinance, you won't, you know, and I'm not saying you personally, Massport won't even consider the performance standards and values when you submit an NOI, which is what we asked you for. So again, I don't want to sound too harsh, but I do want to get to the get an answer on that. Commissioner Herbst.
Just curious, and I may have missed this, but is this filing, is this directly related to the one of the items we had 2 weeks ago? Is this restoration based on work you're doing elsewhere?
Yeah, it's the mitigation component that's going along with the runway 27 project. So, you know, through the MEPA process, we had outlined sort of in-kind restoration for impacts of subtidal, intertidal habitat, as well as in lieu fee funds for impacts to Army Corps and Division of Marine Fisheries. So, yeah, this is a separate but related project, and we're hoping to have the mitigation done concurrent or close to being done along with the completion of the runway project. So we're going to be utilizing you know, what we get back in the way of the geotech report to help inform design, and would look to be initiating the MEPA process for this project and back before the commission with a notice of intent for the project later in the fall.
Okay, thanks. That's all.
Great, thank you. Elena, anybody, I don't see any hands. Do you see any emails?
I see no hands and I also see no emails.
Okay, thank you. So with that, I would entertain a motion to issue a negative determination of applicability with the standard erosion controls.
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Linay,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Estes Margiazzi,
Aye.
Commissioner Herbst,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That carries 5-0. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Okay, there have been a number of continuances. Continued our notice of intent for DEP file number 0061996 and Boston file number 2024-021. Notice of intent for DEP file number 0062042 and Boston file number 2025-014. DEP file number, unassigned file number from both on behalf of Massport for the proposed demolition of deteriorated seawall and its replacement with a sloped stone revetment at Piers Park. And notice of intent for DEP file number 0062050 and Boston file number 2025-022. We'll now begin our regular meeting. The first item on the agenda is a request for a certificate of compliance for DEP file number 0061729 and Boston file number 2020-017 from Civil and Environmental Consultants on behalf of 282 Bremen Owner LLC for the demolition of several structures and construction of a 5-story mixed-use building located at 282 to 308 Bremen Street in East Boston, resource area, land subject to coastal storm flowage. Eleanor, what do we have on this?
Yes, so staff conducted a site visit on July 17th. Not to sound like a broken record, I was unable to attend the site visit. So if commissioners have any questions about what we saw on site, I'll defer to my team on that. But based on the filing and based on their observations, we'd recommend issuing a certificate of compliance with the 3 maintenance conditions noted in our staff comments, which are numbers 27, 47, and 52.
Okay, do any commissioners have any questions? Sounds like a no, so with that, I would.
Apologies, Chair Parker. Alice Brown has her hand raised.
Okay.
Thanks, Chair Parker. For the record, I'm Alice Brown, the Director of Environmental Quality with the City of Boston, and I was at the site visit and just want to note for commissioners that we saw a lot of best practices at this site when we conducted our site visit, from really good drainage out back to the way that water from the roof was channeled into the garden beds out front and the plant materials in the garden beds. So if you want to check out a possible plant palette and just landscape design for a project that we think was really successfully implemented in LSCSF, we would encourage you to stop by.
Oh, fantastic. Are there site photos in the file?
There are photos in the file, and there is an ice cream shop next door as a motivation.
Okay, I'll bring the photos, go over there and have ice cream. Okay, thank you. That is good to know. Okay. And no other questions for Elena?
I just agree that I happened to sit down there one day. And I was like, this is actually really nice and well done. And then it came back to me that, so yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Moment. Yeah.
And you brought the boys to the ice cream shop, maybe?
I didn't know it was there, so we now have to go back, yeah.
Next time. Okay. Yeah, it definitely sounds worth a trip. I would definitely make my way over there. Okay, so with that, I would entertain a motion to issue a certificate of compliance for DEP file number 0061729, Boston file number 2020-017 with perpetual maintenance perpetual conditions 27, 47, and 52.
Moved.
We have a second.
Second.
Okay, Commissioner Linay,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Estes Margiazzi, Commissioner Herbst,
Aye.
Commissioner Smagiazzi.
Aye.
Estes. Okay, thank you. Did we have something in chat? I saw a sorry come up. Never mind. Okay. Okay, so that passes, and I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Thank you. Okay. Next item on the agenda are administrative updates. Do we have any?
We do not have any administrative updates with the exception of just a staffing update, and Max, apologies, I didn't mention in advance that I put you on the spot. But just wanted to make sure that our commissioners know that Max Hartledge has joined our team and will be with us as the Conservation and Resilience Fellow through December. So we're excited to have him on the team.
Welcome, Max.
Thank you.
We do have a question. Is 24 Stimson Street project going to be addressed? No, it was not on the agenda this evening. But you can check in with staff if you'd like to see when it's being rescheduled. I don't think we have a date yet, do we, Elena?
We're anticipating that it'll be on the August 6th agenda, but that agenda isn't finalized and won't be finalized until a week before. But I'm just going to include the Conservation Commission staff email in chat so that in case anybody does want to follow up, they can email us and we can let them know.
Okay. Great. You're welcome. Okay. So with that, we have acceptance of meeting minutes from June 4th, 2025 and July 9th, 2025. I looked through them. They were done very well. Just had to make very, very minor, very minor edits. So do any commissioners have any questions on those two sets of minutes? Hearing none, I would entertain a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the June 4th, 2025 and July 9th, 2025 hearings.
So moved.
Second.
Give a second. Thank you. Commissioner Linay,
Aye.
Commissioner Wilson,
Aye.
Commissioner Estes Margiazzi,
Aye.
Commissioner Herbst,
Aye.
and I vote aye. That carries 5-0. Okay, so with that, motion to adjourn by acclamation. And
I have one little thing,
go ahead.
Parker.
Yes.
In the good news, if you want to get out and around town, I haven't seen it yet, but I understand that the bike path, the Neponset Greenway bike path link from Tinian Beach to Morrissey Boulevard is open now.
Oh, that's great.
So that's when we permitted, and I think it's a very exciting project. So I'm ready to get out there on my bike.
Yeah, that was a long saga.
Yeah.
A lot went into that. That's great. Fantastic. Take pictures.
All right, will do.
And Alice said we're going to be looking at a COC soon, so we'll get some site photos as well. Okay, so with that, welcome, Max. Thank you so much, Elena. I'm glad to see you're back on your feet, and we'll see everyone in a few weeks.
Thank you all.
Thanks.
Great,
Good
thank
night.
you.
Bye, guys.
Good night.